From energy loops to time slips, there are a lot of bizarre Reddit stories that may have you believe that parallel universes exist. I'm Melissa Mulati, your host, and here are your top 10 bizarre Reddit threads that prove parallel universes exist. In our number 10 spot, we have the Renovated Floor. In one of the Reddit threads, a guy explained how once, when he was younger, he and his friend were at Portland University, and the specific building they were in had only a few floors. At the time, the building was undergoing some new changes. The walls were newly painted, new rugs, and some of the floors were still undergoing these changes. They had a meeting on the third floor, so they got into the elevator and went to the third floor. They were not prepared for what they saw though. The entire floor was so dark, the door to their meeting room was locked, and there were no people in sight. They looked out the window to outside, and there was nobody around. It was completely deserted, even though 5 minutes prior, it was busy outside. They looked at the stairs, and everything was old, perhaps straight out of the 70s, and nothing had been renovated, unlike what they had previously seen, 5 minutes ago. They went back into the elevator to the second floor, where there was so much hustle and bustle, and their teacher confirmed that their meeting was indeed on the third floor. They decided to take the stairs, which again they saw were actually renovated, and when they got to the third floor, everything was the same except the floor had been renovated and there were tons of people. The boys are still convinced that they jumped through time, and I'm with them. Definitely seems that way. In our number 9 spot, we have The Shove. There is a thread where a woman's son explains an experience that she had that she can't explain. She takes the train to work every day, and every day she sees a man that almost misses the train. One day he's running for the train and gets on in the last second and shoves her quite forcefully. The woman is shocked by this and gives him a dirty look, as he never apologized. The man next to her asked her if she was alright. She said, yeah, and proceeded to turn around to find the man to give him a piece of her mind. But he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere in sight. She turned to the man beside her and said, he got away quite quickly. And the man beside her looked confused. He had no idea what she was talking about. She explained to him that she was referring to the person that had just shoved her, and that only seconds ago he asked her if she was alright. The man had no recollection of asking her this or seeing her being shoved. Either she stepped into another parallel universe or something's gone wrong with her mentally. Hopefully it was a parallel universe slip. In our number 8 spot, we have the energy loop. This thread had me buzzing, as some of the ideas presented truly can make you feel like a kid again, looking up into the stars and wondering, what the heck is life? What is it? There is a thread where someone goes into a concept called eternal returns. A user stated, quote, the concept of eternal returns states that the entire universe as its whole will repeat and loop itself forever in the exact same identical way forever. From its start to its end, history literally repeats itself from the Big Bang to the universe's final collapse. The concept is apparently from Indian philosophy and can also be thought about in ancient Egypt, and eventually it was adapted by the Pythagoreans and the Stoics. The idea that the universe repeats itself would perhaps mean that then there are no parallel universes, but honestly it's very confusing and I'm unsure. It's definitely something I'm going to have to mull over as I drink my evening tea tonight. In our number 7 spot, we have infinite realities. Another thread went deeper into the concept of infinite realities, and one user in particular had me thinking that it's very possible that parallel universes exist if this were to be true. He said, we are all the same consciousness split into infinite independent pieces, experiencing every infinite slice of reality independently as every living thing in every dimension at the same time. When you screw someone over or wrong someone, you are actually going to have to experience the other side of it as well. Every killer has had to live the life of his victim, etc. Because we are all the same consciousness ultimately. Damn! I love this take on karma, as if it's just inevitable as opposed to a punishment. This definitely aligns with the concept also of yin and yang and makes the most sense to me. In our number 6 spot, we have the glass of water. There is a Reddit thread where a guy explains that he is very particular about his his mornings, he does the same thing. He gets up, grabs a glass, and fills it with water, and then pours some cereal and watches Netflix in bed. He definitely gives me Sheldon vibes from The Big Bang Theory. I bet you he has a seat that no one's allowed to sit in, and I bet you no one can touch his food either, otherwise he won't eat it. On second thought, that's probably a good practice to have, as we just got over a pandemic. Anyways, this was a regular morning. He had a sip of his water, put it on his nightstand, and started eating his breakfast in bed while watching Netflix. Anyways, he was eating away when he got thirsty and went to have a sip of water when his cup was gone. He was very confused as he got up and went to the kitchen and found his cup in the cupboard. He believed that he slipped into another dimension where grabbing water in the morning isn't a part of his routine, and a lot of people seem to be here for it. Do you think he slipped into another dimension? Let us know in the comment section below. In our number 5 spot, we have the John Titor thread. Alright, if you clicked on this video, then I'm sure at this point you have heard all about John Titor. John Titor is a supposed time traveler from the year 2036 that came to the early 2000s for personal reasons, he said, and engaged in a blog thread online. People have debated his authenticity for many moons now, with some predictions that seemingly have come true and some that did not. But one Reddit user commented something notable that I wanted to share. He said, "Please keep an open mind. John Titor stated that traveling through time doesn't mean traveling linearly. But to travel, you must switch into another universe in which the time was set either in the past or future." John also mentioned that he could have already changed up the timeline just by being there, and things would change either way. That would definitely explain a couple of the wars that he said would happen that haven't yet, like the Civil War of 2015. There definitely has been civil unrest and distrust in society so much recently that I wouldn't be surprised if that was a part of our timeline very soon, but you know, maybe just a little delayed. Hopefully not, you never know. In our number 4 spot, we have the Macarena. Yes, the Macarena, that infamous 90s dance that almost everyone in the world knows that was born pre-2000. I can't speak for anyone after that. They have so many TikTok dances in their head that they may not have room for this one. A Reddit thread unveiled a very peculiar thing. Apparently, if you view the original music video for the Macarena, you would see that a few dance moves are missing and were never there. The thread went deep into where the heck did these extra moves come from if they were never there? How did literally everyone from around the world learn some extra moves if the music video did not showcase them? This one is super freaky to me as I play back all the times I have done the Macarena at weddings and school dances and parties, and it was always done with the extra arm movements. Where did they come from? Probably another universe. In our number 3 spot, we have the sweater. This Reddit user spoke about how she was getting ready one morning and grabbed her favorite blue sweater and put it on her dining room chair as she was grabbing a few of her things to take her dog for a walk. She went back to the chair to grab her sweater when it was gone. She felt confused. She just had it and put it on her chair. Where is it? She walked around the house trying to find it. She went to the laundry room to see if she accidentally threw it in the laundry. Nothing. She went to the washroom, the living room, she walked back into her room, and nothing. The sweater was not there. She went to all of the rooms 2 more times and still nothing. The sweater just disappeared. She's convinced that it got sucked into another dimension or experienced a time slip. And honestly, I don't blame her. Either that or some ghosts are playing a trick on her. In our number 2 spot, we have the dimension thread. Okay, not going to lie, this thread, really pulled me in. I had to read it slowly because the ideas presented in it are so hard to grasp, as they are just not our current reality, and it takes a minute to really understand the concept of there being other dimensions, bigger than that. But what is explained is that there are in fact 10 dimensions in total, and each one gets more trippier to understand. But through Googling this and learning about all 10 of the possible dimensions, you may see how it makes sense that parallel universes exist. One commenter said, "I am starting to believe time really is an illusion, and our past, present, and future exist at the same time, but we only experience it linearly. So it's like we can only be on one place on the timeline at any given moment, even though the rest exists elsewhere." Another reader commented, "That's called experiencing this reality from a third-dimensional perspective." Yeah, this convo definitely had me confused, but it sounds like it could make sense for our realities to exist at the same time. I definitely need to think this one through more, but Very interesting. In our number 1 spot, we have the man from Taured. Of course, there are so many threads about the infamous man from Taured. There are also more people that have apparently popped up out of nowhere in this world, but the man from Taured is the most popular story and, you know, my personal favorite. If you haven't heard this story before, essentially one day a man was traveling to Japan in July of 1954, and when he was going through customs in the Tokyo airport, the security wouldn't let him through as he had a passport from a country that did not exist. The man insisted that the country did exist and that it was called Taured, and it had existed for thousands of years. He pointed to the map where a country called Andorra exists now, and insisted that his country is called Taured, but it is in the place where Andorra lies now. He was detained for a night in a hotel while the police investigated this case, but when they arrived the next day to the man's hotel room, the man was gone. He had completely vanished. Some say he went through a time slip, and some say that is probably just an old urban legend, but as there are many stories like this that have popped up over the last while, a lot of people believe this story to be evidence of a parallel dimension. We'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. Alright guys, this one was fun. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Melissa Melotti, your host. Follow me on Insta or YouTube at Melissa Melotti, and I will see you next time. As always, have a good day, sir.